Hi, I'm Mac McCarthy, and I help people with their breakups. And today we're live. Twin flames. This is actually a topic I haven't talked about very much. It hasn't come up very many times, but interestingly enough, I've been emailed about twin flames multiple times this week. It's kind of interesting how it happens from different people with different questions. And I had to look it up one more time because I'm not an expert on twin flames. And it's one of those things where there's so much information about stuff like this, right? You can go in any direction you want. You can believe in it, not believe in it. It's up to you. But when I looked up the definition, and there's a few different ones, it was pretty interesting. And it's an interesting way to look at things. So, what is a twin flame? According to the law of attraction.com and hashtag twin flames, sometimes discussed in terms of a mere soul or soul connection. A twin flame is the other half of your soul. It is theorized, if I said that correctly, that a soul can split into two after ascending to a high frequency. Thereafter, the soul lands in two different bodies. If you compare a twin flame versus a soulmate, it's important to note that a soulmate is someone who is made from the same kind of energy as you, but who has never existed in fusion with you. So although soulmate connections are highly significant, an encounter with a twin flame is on another level entirely. Usually, this will lead to romance. However, it can also manifest in the form of an intense friendship. If you have a twin flame, you are fated to meet this person at some point in your life journey. Interesting stuff here. And full disclosure, in my 20s, and I'm now in my early 40s, I would say this is crazy. I'm more open to stuff like this. I wouldn't say I'm all in on it, but if someone came to me and said, I've met my twin flame, I would say, good for you, as long as it serves you. And a quote of the day is, we think we meet someone with our eyes, but we actually meet them with our soul. Now, does that line up with you? I don't know. Think about that for a minute. That was a quote from Mimi Novik. We think we meet someone with our eyes, but we actually meet them with our soul. I'm not sure if that lines up for me, but I would say if it lines up for you, all good. All good. Now, I have talked about soulmates quite a bit because that comes up a lot. And my idea of soulmates is just make sure you do it with an S. Soulmates. Because in breakups, if you think you met your soulmate non-plural, then you're wiped out, right? You'll never meet someone like that again. Oh my God. And the reality is you will never meet someone like that again. That's absolutely true because unless they have an identical twin, people have different fingerprints, different identities, different intricate parts. And that's why you won't meet someone like that again. You might meet someone similar. But here's the good news. You might meet someone better for you. Right? That's why I always like soulmates. It's when you have a new partner, girlfriend, boyfriend, husband, or wife, what have you, and more people are changing partners or breaking up more than they used to because they're just not putting up with unhappiness for long periods of time. And that's just the reality. If you do go that route, wouldn't it be nice if you upgraded? You certainly wouldn't want to downgrade, right? If you're breaking up with someone that is your soulmate, do they know that you're their soulmate or twin flame? It's an interesting question. So a story came in today regarding the twin flames. Someone had ran into an ex post-breakup. I'll get to the comments. Right on, Zuki818. Parisa, how you doing, hun? Anyone that watches the live stream later on, please let me know if you've ever met a twin flame or soulmate and how that went down, and if you believe in that, or if you don't believe in it. That's quite fine also. But why? So a client of mine that just asked, do you believe in twin flames, coach? And I said, I haven't really studied it or looked into it, but if you believe in it and it serves you, that's okay. But why are you asking the question? And she said basically that this person that she's been on and off again and they're extremely close has been having dreams and has been thinking about her quite a bit and vice versa. And they're just so connected. It is possible to be very connected. It's very possible to be connected long distance. Okay. When someone's on your mind, there's a good chance you're on their mind. You ever thought about that before? I get people all the time. Oh, I can't stop thinking about them. I think they don't care about me. There's a good possibility they're thinking about you too. It's called quantum entanglement. There's a good chance. So we'll retouch on this subject in a moment. But if you have a story you want to send it to writemac.com. The link is down below, and I could unpack it in a live stream like this or a video later on. If you want to book a live coaching session, the link's below. Now, this story today, what's interesting about it is when you run into an ex, right? Post-breakup, years later. And I haven't really had this happen, to be honest with me, in my own life. Years later, someone that I was really close to, and then you just run into them at a random place. I would think that it really depends on where you're at in your own life when you run into them and where they're at, because this is where it comes in. I hope you're at your best, feeling your best, because if you run into your ex and they're feeling their best, looking their best, and you're not, you'll probably avoid interaction. Have you ever had that before, where you ran into someone that you used to date, even someone that you didn't have a relationship with, and you could tell they avoided you at a coffee shop or a restaurant? Most likely they are feeling less or lower than you, unworthy. It's unfortunate. And that's why post-breakup is always an opportunity to get at your best, feel your best. Whether that's hitting the gym, whether that's getting more spiritual, it's up to you. All right, let's get into the story. My ex-boyfriend, Chad, I'm just going to use a random name, and I were together for 6 years. We never really officially lived together. We broke up mutually right after graduating from college. We were madly in love, but we wanted different things and had conflicting goals. Well, this is very common that college sweethearts, we always use the term high school sweethearts, but there's a lot of college sweethearts, break up within a year after. Now, this is the reason why. If you had different majors and you went into different career fields that might not have lined up is one part of it. The other part of it is you're still in your 20s, your mid-20s for a lot of people. Some people it's late 20s when they get done with school. And your schedules no longer line up. This is a big one that's overlooked. When you're in college, even if you go to a different college, you kind of have the same thing going on. You have teachers, you have tests, you have a finish line to get your degree. And so a lot of things line up. You talk about school, you have weekends off, right? So, and then you get out of school and those things change because your new job field or career field isn't going to be like college, right? If you get into a field like banking and your partner gets into something like teaching, you're going to have two different things to talk about. See how that's so different? Whereas when you go to school, and even though you're studying different topics, you're still going to the same school, probably hanging out with the same people, But you get a job and you might be in a field where you work with people in their 40s and 50s, and then your partner hangs out with people in their 20s. It just doesn't line up. But also, in my viewpoint, in this day and age, in the 21st century, people in their 20s are just going to break up more often. They're not going to lock in and want to get married. There's a lot of literature on this, a lot of books on this. There's a lot of information out there on why not to do it. And people generally have this thing where they go, well, this isn't the last person I'm going to be with when I'm 25 years old. They want to get it in. Literally. They want to experience life. They want to have a few different partners. A lot of people are like this. It's waning the amount of people that go, at 22, I want to be married with kids and be with the person I want to be with for the rest of my life. So we didn't think it was fair for either of us to sacrifice our dreams for our relationship because that would most likely lead to resentment. Good move. We're both 30 now. I got married 5 years ago to a wonderful man, and now I'm a homemaker, full-time caregiver to my stepdaughters. But I still teach piano and guitar and voice on the side. I'm happy and I feel very blessed. And I'm eternally grateful for the life my husband, Joe, has given to me. So I just changed the names. Around the holidays, I was traveling alone and I ran into Chad at the airport and had a layover. We saw each other and it felt like we were never apart and nothing had changed between us. Well, that's interesting. 5 years out, you run into each other at an airport and it feels like nothing has changed. That's pretty deep connection. That means that you ended on good terms. That means people didn't say mean things or hurtful things. Purely out of habit, we kissed on the lips and it felt so comforting and familiar. It turned out we both had several hour layovers and our gates were pretty close together. He insisted on treating me to lunch, and then we had a cup of coffee. We caught up with each other and had a great conversation. What a ideal situation to catch up, right? You're waiting for a flight and you have several hours. That's pretty interesting. That's serendipity. I filled him in about my life and I heard all about his travels and adventures. We also reminisced about our past. I was very surprised to hear he has a new relationship with a man. This is going to be much more common in the future, I think, too. This comes up in some of the coaching I do. This might be one of the reasons you guys didn't end up staying together and did have a lot of differences. His connecting flight left before mine, so I walked him to his gate. We hugged and shared another affectionate kiss. I, of course, told my husband I ran into him when we had lunch. I'm wondering if you told him about the affectionate kiss. He's a very secure, and we've had a good relationship, so he wasn't threatened or jealous. Excellent. Excellent for you to tell him also. Am I right to assume that Chad and I are still in love? Was this appropriate? Well, number one, you make your own boundaries. I'm not going to make those for you. Is it possible you still love each other? What's your definition of love? Because mine might be different. This is one where people get really hung up on what's normal. So I have a lot of people that will say, oh, I love them. But I love them. Your definition of love and what comes with that and the expectations of that are probably different because, correct me if I'm wrong, if you had different parents, caretakers, aunts, uncles, grandparents that conveyed love in a certain way or didn't convey love, you're going to soak that in. And so this idea of knowing what love is unique to you. It's a word with a definition, but it's so much bigger than that, right? Different cultures might hold it in different ways. So, and then we have this idea of what is being in love compared to just loving someone. It's supposed to be much different, right? I would say that you and Chad definitely love each other still, have a deep connection, are attracted to each other still if you had this affectionate kiss. But that's for you to decide. And you know what? People might not like this, but if you have an ex that you still care about and love from afar and you ran into them and you gave them a kiss or a hug and it was a moment, I don't have a problem with that. You're not going to pursue them right now, are you? And this is what people get mixed up about. If you're in a monogamous relationship, you're still going to be attracted to other people. You're still going to have dirty thoughts about other people. Okay? It's human. If you're on a strict diet, right, that says that you can't eat meat, you're still going to think about meat from time to time. No pun intended on this one. And she asked, was this appropriate? Was it appropriate to you? That's not for me to decide. You told your husband, which was an extra point. It seemed like it happened seamlessly, effortlessly. Had you emailed him out of the blue and said you wanted to get a coffee, might be a little bit more inappropriate. The fact that you met randomly without any kind of premeditated thing, I think it's fine. Now, if you take it a step further and continue to want to meet with him and get intimate and you're married, well, in most cases, that's obviously inappropriate. But as the great Too Short once said, don't fight the feeling. But if you're happy in your marriage and you had this interaction, you told your husband, you don't take it a step further, I think you're fine. I think it's okay. I think it's healthy. You're being honest with yourself. He's also with another man. So you were obviously right when you guys broke up. He's got different interests, literally. Everything happened so quickly, and I was so overwhelmed seeing him that I couldn't think. I want to know if this is something I should be reading into. I'm married and happy with my life. Stick with that then. Married and happy with your life is not a simple thing for a lot of people. So if you got that, don't jeopardize it. I know that a relationship with Chad could never work out in the long run, and it would be impossible to have the stability with him that I have with my current husband. Maybe Chad and I are just twin flames, nothing more. Thank you for listening. Feel free to use this if you want. Well, if you want to look at it as twin flames, like I mentioned earlier, the definition of twin flames means you could be friends and you're deeply connected. Okay, fine. One thing I would encourage you to do is not feel guilty about this, right? To have feelings or be attracted or to have some juices bubble up about someone else while you're married. Okay? Let's be honest. People are way too rigid about this sometimes, but there is a line. If you go out of your way to reach out to Brad and want to meet him again and again, what do you really want? Right? Having a random meetup at the airport, having some things bubble up, I think it's quite natural. Now set your boundary and ask yourself this. If your husband told you the same story about his ex-girlfriend from college and how deeply connected they are, would you have a problem with it? Good question. All right, we have one more story in. We got 10 on deck, 3 likes. Thank you. I appreciate it. If you have any questions, concerns about your relationship right now or anything else, put them in the comments. This one is a little different topic than the twin flames. Ex-girlfriend is playing games, has guy friends, won't prioritize me, is hiding me. Pretty deep here. A lot of stuff going on there. Seems like you're a little bit insecure too. Hey, Coach McCarthy, I stumbled across your channel yesterday and I love the content already. To begin, me and my ex are going through a rough patch. We've been together for 3 years. She left me for an ex at the beginning of our relationship. We're both 18. Okay, so you're pretty young. She left me for an ex at the beginning of our relationship. She got out of a 1-year relationship and got with me within a week. All right, that's a red flag. It happens though. You guys are young, really young. And so you're still learning things about relationships. Don't overthink it. Things are different when you're younger like that. If you're in the 18-year-old range, 19, 20, right? But when someone does something to you at the beginning of a relationship, they're probably going to do it again. People run in patterns. And if there's no consequences to what they do, they'll definitely do it again. A lot of times women test you. And if someone knows that they can get away with stuff, they'll continue to do it again and again. So this idea that, oh, it just happened and you overlooked it, don't be surprised when it happens again. History repeats itself. Things in a relationship repeat itself. If you had enough relationships or enough experience, you'll see that. And start filtering for these things. Keep them in your back pocket. Oh, shit, she did that again? It's not by chance, dude. Let me get back to my spot here. She left me for an ex at the beginning of our relationship because she got out of a 1-year relationship and got with me within a week. We later then got back together. And as time went on, things weren't easy because she had strict parents. Okay, this happens. People even in their early 20s have strict parents that they deal with. We couldn't really see each other. We had constant fights about this and even broke up once because of how frustrating it was to be in an LDR. Okay, you didn't even mention that you're in so you got a long distance relationship. You got her that she left for an ex right away off the get-go. You got parents that are involved. All these things aren't going away. So problem. Are they fixable? Is there something you can do to meet her halfway on the bridge? In the case of strict parents, they're not going away. So what we run away from is going to be there. You can complain about these things, but how are you going to make them better or go with them? My problem is that I heard her in the past used to like model pictures of females on social media, compare her to other females in a way, not compliment her enough. And she felt ugly around me, I guess you can say. Okay, so the reality is you're 18 and you're looking at social media quite a bit. You're going to be exposed to hot women on there. That's just what they throw at you. The idea that you're taking accountability for making her feel ugly is a little bit much. She waited until I changed from being an a-hole, which took me quite a while, but I was always loyal to her and tried as a boyfriend. So you tried as a boyfriend. You weren't a good boyfriend. You tried. Trying is an interesting word because it never means you do it. Coming into our final year, we both shared the same mutual friends, and one play fought with her. I told her to quit it, but one play fought with her. This is why you have to reread your story before you send it in. I told her to quit it, but I continued, so I told her to cut it out and make it clear to him. She got angry and finally told him, but was angry at me because now things were going to be awkward between the group and us. It seems like she just liked the attention of males, or maybe I just wasn't doing the right things as a boyfriend. No. When you're 18 to 25 to 30, there's some women and men that like to flirt. It's in their personality. They like the attention. If you're in a group of friends, okay? And this is what's interesting, right? It's not as common. People in their late 30s, 40s that have kids, that have careers, they don't have as many, and correct me if I'm wrong in the comments, they don't have as many friends that would flirt with their wives, right? When you're that age, it's open game. You shouldn't, when you're younger like that, this is a no-no. Hanging out in groups, right? Hanging out in groups where where it's you and your girlfriend, some of your single buddies, and you're like, oh my God, I can't believe she's conversing with my single buddy. Believe it. It's human nature. So this idea that it's your fault or it's her fault, you're just putting yourself in situations. Hang out with your girlfriend, get time between you two. And then you got to give her the benefit of the doubt and trust. I mean, I don't know your line. I didn't see it. A misunderstanding happened between me and the leader of the group where I completely distanced myself from them all and I no longer spoke to them or my ex. Why aren't you the leader? Well, all go to the same school. She chose to stay with the group. We ended up breaking up because of constant fights about the guy friends, the misunderstanding between I and the group, and we haven't spoken in a month due to me doing no contact, which works. She constantly posted on social media about me. I mean, what do you want? You're looking for a group You're looking for the group to change. You're looking for her to not talk to this guy as much. It's probably not going to happen. I reached out to see where things could go from there, and it was the same thing as before. We couldn't come to an agreement on either. She chose them or me, and she chose them because they've been there throughout her heartbreak, and it'll be wrong. Which heartbreak? The heartbreak with you or with someone else? So there's some things I have to ask questions about her. She's basically stuck with them. Basically, they're like her little parents. I ended up blocking her on social media platform, and she ended up coming to me in class and asking why I blocked her and was trying to be playful, saying, we're soulmates playing mind games. We ended up having intimacy. I ended up getting weaker and weaker, not maintaining my frame, constantly texting her, creating no scarcity. Now she pulled back. She's still with her guy friends. They hang out all four, two of her close guy friends, and one of her girlfriends, who is the other guy friends. Yeah, I know it looks like a double date to me. Well, here's the thing. Some people have lines, some don't have lines. Is she sleeping with? Is she hooking up with these other guys? Right? You've already stated this is a no-no for you. You know, can you deal with it? Some can, some can't. She claims it's nothing but friends, but I can tell he wants more than friends. I don't know what to do. Is it possible for you to date other women? You know, there's a lot of guys out there that take the friends route. They come to me. You know, I've always liked her, but I've never wanted to tell her. So yeah, they're on the friend zone. Sometimes they're not a threat because women like orbiters. Makes them feel good, but it's not attractive to them. So if she's hooking up with you, what are you really worried about? Or are you saying, you know, if this guy wants to pursue her, I've been in situations where I've had good looking girlfriends. They're good catches. There's going to be other guys around. It doesn't bother me that much because I trust them. I've had girlfriends where guys call them up and they tell me, oh, you know, so-and-so called me up again. I'm like, oh yeah, okay, cool. Now, if she's meeting with these guys one-on-one, that's a red flag. She should also be inviting you when they all hang out. Now, in an atmosphere like this, where it's a group they've hung out with for a long time, fine. But knowing that the other guy likes her, but she's hanging out with him on her own, yeah, it is a threat. But where's your power in this situation is what I would ask. I don't know what to do. I think it's time for me to move on. She also claims she didn't leave me for them. It's about how I came off to her and how I gave her the option of me or them. And she thought about everything I did and how she waited. Well, bottom line is no one likes ultimatums. So adults, you're 18, you just became an adult. When you tell people it's me or them and you push them in that direction, even if she agrees with you, she's going to resent you for it. Because right now she wants her cake and eat it too. She likes the attention. Let me ask you this. If you had a group of girlfriends or friends that are girls and one of them was cute and she liked you, even though you had a girlfriend, would you still like that attention or would you shut it off? Good question. I just don't know what to do. These friends are in the way of everything and she's letting it happen. And because of the breakup, now they have an unbreakable bond. Maybe this relationship's not good for you, doesn't line up for you. I would say move on and bet on yourself. And if she loves you that much, she'll come back. My plan was to wait until she tells me we're talking again. Oh, so you're going to wait for her. That sounds like a great plan. Go ahead and bite your nails. Talk things out between them because they hate me, but she's playing the long game. She isn't telling them. She's saying that she doesn't want to rush things. Apparently, quit resisting the reality. She's not going to turn her back on these friends in the name of your relationship. So you either deal with it, set up boundaries about these friends, or just move on. But don't take it personally. Oh, they hate me. Who fucking cares? Do you even want to be friends with these dudes? That would be another thing. Here's a good one, right? Let's say I have a girlfriend. We have a great relationship. She's got a few friends I don't like. She's got a few guy friends I don't like. Now, if I know that guy's pursuing her, I'll put up some boundaries and go, hey, look, I don't want you hanging out. I'm thinking back right now. I had a relationship a while back, years back. many years back. And we were just starting out. And it's a test, right? It's like, oh, I used to date him, but I never liked him. Okay. So I used to see the guy come up to her at the gym because that's where I met her at. I met her at the gym. I could tell the guy liked her. Didn't press me, though, because I knew we were hooking up. I knew she liked me. I knew she was into me. It didn't make me insecure at all. In fact, she'd be talking to the guy the minute I walked in. She'd come straight up to me and leave the guy hanging, right? The guy would give me dirty looks all the time because he was jealous. I didn't care. But she went, oh, you know what? He's starting a new company, this and that. He wants me to work there. I said, look, you can work there. That's fine, but we're not going to work out. That's not, I know the guy likes you. I know he has interest in you. It's just not going to work. So it wasn't necessarily an ultimatum. It was just telling you, you don't have to choose between us. I'm just telling you, I won't put up with that. But if you want to work there, go ahead. Because I know the guys. I'm not going to put myself in that situation. So the idea that you're saying, look, if you're going to hang out with this guy that I know likes you and wants to put some moves on you, but in the name of friendship or being blind to this, I got to sit on the sidelines and listen to it. You got power here. Move on. Be done with it. You're 18 years old, dude. Bet on yourself. If you met a really good-looking woman that you're into, you can meet another one. I'm left here waiting like a secret side dude, waiting until she makes her first move. You don't have to do it. You're in the jail cell with the key in your pocket. Let yourself loose. Why are you owning in on one woman that's hanging out with guy friends that are pursuing her, which you've already said is not cool, and then now you're like, oh, the friends don't like me. Move on. Don't put yourself in the box. I'm sick of it all, and I'm done doing, and I'm doing no contact again, but I just think it's time for me to move on. Hell yeah, it's time for you to move on. Keep on moving, as the great Bob Marley once said. All right, folks, anyone got any closing questions? I got a few minutes left. We got 8 on deck, 3 likes. Send your story into rightmac.com. The link's down below. Interesting stuff today, right? Twin flames. Have you had one before? Do you know what a twin flame is? Have you ever thought, when you're listening to these breakup stories, what your story sounds like? Because it's so much easier when you hear someone else's story to just point out, well, do this, do that, do this, when you're not in it. One thing I've realized is that one of the biggest things affecting us in a breakup is we get zeroed in to this small part of it. Well, I can't do this. I have to do this. They did this. There's so many more options that we're not looking at. And it comes down to loss. It comes down to, I don't want to lose them. I don't want to be rejected by them. This game of back and forth. And the answer is, what if you did lose them? Could you recover? Have you had some losses that later on went, that was a blessing in disguise? How many breakups have you had where you went, yeah, we would have never lasted. Now I know that 5 years later. Think about that. It's a good thought to chew on. A really good thought to chew on. All right, Parisa, Zuki818, Mark Bennett, Alternative Spirituality. Good to see you. I'm going to close this one out. Put in the comments below if you had a twin flame situation that you want to share, or if you'd like to book a live coaching session. Curtains.